Like and subscribe. Please look.
Yes, we are the hungry ones. Your torments call us like dogs in the night. We do feed and feed well, and butter our plain bread with delicious pain. Good evening, weirdos. Welcome to Totaled Recall, the first of our Halloween editions. I'm Jethro Bot, and with me is the wizard.
Hi, everybody. I'm in a mask.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Well, it's Halloween, so I brought my little friend here.
Say hello to your little friend.
All right. Well, we're not here just to play with toys. We're actually
Although
here
it would be more fun if we were.
Yeah. I can't see so well in that thing either, so.
Oh, thank you. Luchador masks are uncomfortable if they're not made for you.
Yeah. That's Danhausen. I don't know if we have any wrestling fans in the audience. That's Danhausen.
Did you say Danhausen?
Yeah.
Yes, this was my Maskhausen.
Maskhausen.
This is a Maskhausen.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a great time of year. I love buying and eating candy and giving people candy. And I don't know what your favorite candy is, but yeah, I just went and got some Kit Kat. I love Kit Kat. This is chocolate frosted donut Kit Kat.
Those are good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've had these before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I searched the Kit Kats out. My God, you are a fucking barbarian.
Oh, it's so good.
That is not how you eat Kit Kats. I'm insulted, honestly. That's one of the most disgusting things I've seen all week. Did you see that? Did everybody?
Happy Halloween.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, we're good.
I have bottle caps.
Oh man, I don't care much for bottle caps. I gotta tell you.
I don't want them all the time, but every once in a while.
Put them right there with candy corn. All right.
I love me some candy corn.
Tonight's movie, our first horror movie. Our first time doing root beer for the win, huh? Okay. We're gonna have some candy talk tonight too. We're gonna have some candy digressions going on. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh my God. We can't even start talking about Japanese Kit Kats.
Japanese Kit Kats
They go on all night, dude. They're amazing. So yeah, we're doing our first horror movie. We're doing a Disney movie from 1983. So you can expect this stream to be taken down temporarily after we air. I don't think our stream will get disrupted by Disney, but I do think they'll probably strike it, and then we'll have to,
They've never taken us down before.
Oh no, they did for
Well, not during
The
the
black
stream.
hole. No, not during the stream.
Not
No.
during.
Yeah, but we got hit for the black hole. So I suspect we'll get hit for this one too. But it's okay. Everyone's really reasonable about it. It's just bots talking to bots. It's the world you live in. So this movie, I was so glad to pick this movie, or well, I was real glad that Gravy picked this movie because this is not just a live action Disney film from my youth that was like frickin' on HBO all the time because it was an expensive film that did financially not so well. But I loved Ray Bradbury as well. Like that was like probably kind of my first favorite author. My first author I really recognized as someone whose writings I liked. And I had this book called Dinosaur Tales, which is a bunch of short stories centered around dinosaurs that he wrote that I had pretty much my whole life. I think it's still sitting on a shelf around here somewhere. So, but I loved this movie when I was a kid. Watched it over and over and over. Special effects, spooky characters. Probably really my first horror movie love. This movie. I can't think of what the other horror movie might have been. So. Are you not talking to me after the Kit Kat incident now?
No, I was letting you go. You had an agenda there, and I thought it was awesome. I wasn't going to interrupt.
Yeah, but no, that's all I have to say. Yeah, that's.
Whereas I was on the other end of the spectrum. I've never seen this before.
You had never seen this before?
No. It hit in that era where I was like just getting into cool movies, and I was in my early 20s, and a Disney movie was not calling to me at the time. And then
that makes sense.
For whatever reason, like I would hear about it, and then it would just kind of go away, and nobody ever encouraged me. Let's go watch this. I've been meaning to for a long time.
And now it's happened, and this one was kind of hard to find. For some reason, it's not on Disney Plus, so I don't know, like, I know you've been doing some traveling and you got stuck at the airport overnight. So really, really appreciate you, like, finding this for us and still preparing slides, even with all that awful crap going on, that awful shit. We're 8 minutes in, so it was some awful shit is what it was.
And then I tried to watch it Sunday night after all that, and I think I saw probably 30 minutes of it, but not all in a row. So I watched it again last night. It's been a week.
Well, I am I am excited to hear what you thought about it. I'm going to bring out the gentleman who selected it for us. That is a very nice Halloween costume you're wearing tonight.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I spent a lot of time on it.
Something gravy this way.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, like some of the narrative in this film. As it turns out. But that's okay. Things don't have to make sense in order to be interesting or cool. So as this film also proves.
Yeah. Well, you're my brother.
Yep.
So a lot of the times when I was watching HBO, you were watching HBO, which means I'm going to go ahead and guess you saw this movie a lot when you were a kid too.
Yeah, we watched the crap out of this movie. This is another one that you and I watched over and over. I remember you loved this movie. I liked this movie. This movie genuinely creeped me out. It's got tons of live tarantulas in
over 200 real tarantulas.
Yeah, and it's creepy AF. It is totally creepy. And the way they use them is really good too. That scene is genuinely like icky. It still got to me when I watched this movie for the first time in decades last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we both really like this. I remember you just loved this movie, so we watched it a million times together, and I always liked it too.
Yeah.
But it is an early, like, scary, movie love that we had for sure.
Yeah. Like, kind of one of the first times where you really enjoyed being scared.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
Oh, we've got some monster laughing. Okay. I look forward to that. All right.
That's just my ringtone.
Oh, okay. Well, let me bring out Bride of Pumpkinhead. Bride of Pumpkinhead.
Hi.
Bop.
Yeah.
Bop.
Pumpkinhead and I once read this book for a book club, but I don't think we watched the movie at that time. So, had you seen this movie before?
If I had completely forgotten by the time Gravy suggested it. I don't. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It didn't make an impression, if so, I guess.
Well,
I've read the book many times.
Okay, more than once. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I read it in high school. I read it with our book club, Jason Robards, and I read it for another book club that I eventually got kicked out of.
Kicked out?
Yeah. It was a neighborhood book club.
You got kicked out of a book club?
Yes.
You're so cool.
I mean, we read a couple of books all together. It was a big established group. It was a lot of folks that were older than me. And thank you, Adam. Rock and roll.
That's punk rock as hell, man.
Well, I think what happened was I kept bringing up stuff in the books that we were reading. For example, in Something Wicked This Way Comes, there's a feminist reading of this that is not super flattering. That I like the book, and I said as much. I love Ray Bradbury, and I just mentioned that because it's a book club, and you just talk about that stuff. But they were like, "Oh, it's of its time," and blah blah, and we have to forgive him for that. And I'm like, well, we can still talk about it.
Yeah.
And that happened with a number of other books, and then I just stopped getting invitations. So, and I feel like y'all know me well enough. Like, I am not a person who gets kicked out of anything. I'm so polite.
No.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone wants you involved.
But you're so woke.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Too woke for the NIMBYs.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, we are totally going to discuss the, let's just say, male-centric aspect of the narrative of this story.
Just a wee bit male.
Yeah, just a little. Just a tiny bit.
A little bit.
I was barely able to see it with my one big eye.
My good eye. If you turn that band around, he becomes like a calmer Cyclops, right? He has more than one eye.
Yeah, he has like a calm eye.
Yeah,
and like and then like a slightly irritated eye, and then he's got the evil eye.
Full-on pissed eye. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's kicked out of the. I was going to say that I love the prose of this book. If you've read Ray Bradbury but haven't read this book, it's very similar to the way that Dandelion Wine is written. It's just super flowery and really emotionally connective. It's a very good book. I like it a lot. It is of its time, though.
Yeah, I would like to read it. I've never really read a lot of Bradbury. Mostly
good.
short stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
many old things are of their time.
Yes.
Right.
True that. All right, let's bring out our friend Barbara Lawrence. Barbara, how you doing?
Oh, Barbara.
Howdy. Howdy.
So,
coming to get you, Barbara.
No.
It's that time of year.
It is. It's spooky season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited.
Great costume, by the way.
Thank you. I want you all to just sort of imagine that I am a Las Vegas showgirl right now. Because that's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm wearing.
Hell yeah.
Headdress, feather boa, all of it. I'm definitely not wearing sweats and a trashy t-shirt.
It'd be funny if that's what you were wearing, but you popped out of a cake anyway,
Hi, Mr. President. How's it going?
Absolutely no enthusiasm at all. You just kind of walk out of the cake like, I'm here.
No.
I need a chair. All right.
I do need a chair. I did watch this movie. I don't know, what was I, 14, maybe 15 when I watched this movie. And I remember enjoying it. I remember being a little creeped out by it, especially because of the tarantulas. But we'll kind of get into some differences, how I feel about it now versus how I felt about it watching it then. And I did read the book. I am a Ray Bradbury fan. I remember thinking that this movie was sufficiently creepy in ways that an overactive imagination would allow. And I don't know that I quite feel that way about the rewatch, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Well,
this is going to be a good talk.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot of tarantulas.
200. Over 200 live tarantulas. Okay. And also from San Diego, our great friend, it's Adam. And Adam, I think you were just saying that you had not seen this movie before. Is that right?
No, in the minority once again, as an old white guy. I had not seen this, and me and the Wizard have exactly the same story. Like, it was around, and I kept seeing the commercials and the ads for it, and somehow just never sat down and watched it. Like, it just was on my periphery. And
you get one warning on those hawk days, okay? Now you've had it.
I'm giving him a pass.
Yeah, I don't think we're above topical humor here.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Well, he's the only
I
one
don't care who you are. That's funny.
that isn't on the panel, so I guess we give him a pass. Yeah, I wasn't even aware that this was a Disney movie, honestly. Like, that was just not something in my brain. So I love old carnivals and spooky spiritual evil stuff and whatever, and somehow never watched it. I don't know how.
Seen stuff that took its tropes, but didn't really see the original, the original one. Like, have you seen the Rick and Morty that is basically this movie in an episode?
I have not.
Yeah, it's Rick versus Mr. Dark.
Okay.
He's a science to mess with his, his stuff.
His soul eating.
Yeah. His
soul. Man. I'm going to have to rewatch that. I must have seen that.
Yeah, you had to have seen it. It's in an earlier season, but yeah, you at some point in time. Yeah.
I'm going to do my best, but I have some pretty strong opinions about tonight's movie.
Okay, no worries. That's what we want to hear. Say strong opinions, and we're just going to go ahead and bring this bad boy out here. It starts with immediately the suggestion of blood is Ray Bradbury's name.
Oozes.
This whole
Oozes.
opening sequence is pretty great.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
I love the first 10 minutes of this movie. I love the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes as much as I hate the rest of it.
That's right. It's a great train. You know, it's shot very well. The talk a little bit about the director. This guy, he is an extremely celebrated and problematic character. He you know, he has made he's produced stuff, but he's directed a lot of like popular films. Is a popular adaptation of The Great Gatsby, a popular adaptation of the what is it, the turning of the screw, I don't know, anyway,
Taming of the Screw,
the Taming of the Screw, I don't know, but he made a lot of like, you know, very celebrated films, and he is notoriously, you know, meticulous and like kind of control heavy on the films that he works on. Jack Clayton is who we're talking about, and as you know, he got a reputation for kind of being difficult to work with because he had walked out on more than one production because the studio wanted to fiddle with the script. He actually like worked on more aborted projects than successful projects.
What else would we know him from?
Let me interrupt real quick.
Sure. Yes.
This part of the movie right here is one of the few things that was not filmed in Colorado. I mean, California.
Yeah.
On stage, and this is all just right up the road from me.
Yeah, I was going to say this is Vermont. They went to Vermont to do exteriors. Yeah.
Yeah, it's two little towns a little bit north of Montpelier, kind of around the Stowe area.
Oh wait, Vermont?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Where was it supposed to be? Indiana?
Illinois.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, picturesque Vermont fills in for Illinois.
Not so picturesque. Yeah.
Okay. I got a question. So
they scheduled this nicely because they did shoot it most of it at peak leaf season.
Nice.
I have to say, which is right about now.
Okay. Jeff's probably about to say this anyway, but I was I was watching this and I was really curious about the town. If it's a set, like a lot, or if it's all like a real town, or what.
This is a Disney backlot.
Yeah,
that's what. Not surprised. Yeah. And when I was a kid, I was thoroughly convinced that this was a town. It never occurred to me till I watched it last night that would have been a backlot.
They did a lot of work on that lot. They brick faced everything, you know, with fake brick, obviously. But normally that would be like clapboard and siding and stuff. They really tried to get it Midwestern. They did. They did the work.
You look for the paintings in the background. Some of the paintings in the background are a little obvious. They're walking in a forest at one point, and the rest of the forest doesn't, you know, like they do a good job, but you know, if you're looking for it, you're going to find that it's a painting, you know. So
can I
for Green Acres fans, the old lady teacher here is Ralph Monroe from Green Acres.
Can I sidetrack just for a second? Because I have seen a number of Ray Bradbury adaptations.
Right.
Maybe, okay, what do you guys think of this on the scale of adaptations? And what do you think is the best Bradbury adaptation in film?
That's a good question.
Because there were a ton of things on HBO back in the day.
Yeah. There used to be a TV show called Ray Bradbury Presents, and it was most, if not all, based on his short stories. And that was during the 80s. So
I remember in particular there was a short that HBO showed all the time as a gap filler, revolving around a little girl from Ohio who has to relocate to another planet, and it rains like 364 days a year, and there's one day when the sun comes out and she gets locked in a closet, and she's not allowed to see the sun. I can't remember the title of it, but that one always affected me as a kid. I feel like Bradbury has gotten kind of a short shrift.
Oh yeah, he's been kind of forgotten, like he was really big during my childhood, but
I feel like it sort of in a Stephen King way, like the picture versions never come out quite as well as they ought to.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I just thought I'd pause it for a moment to get caught up on the story a little bit. We did meet Royal Dano, a man who, already worked for Disney as the voice of Abraham Lincoln when you go to Disneyland. But he is a great character actor that we've actually had on the show before in Space Invaders, where he plays kind of the same character, really, just a wild ass man.
Except, I mean, is it too early to say he might be a supernatural creature here?
Well, no, that's the thing. Yeah, we'll talk about that. That is something that went totally over my head when I was a kid. Was first his introduction as what is essentially a snake oil salesman. He's coming into town with his lightning rods, and he's like, "Everybody, my name's Tom Fury, and I know what lightning might do, and it's going to strike your house, and you're going to need this."
And the lightning is metaphorical. Like he's clearly a mystical character. I think that pretty well.
But at this point in time, we only know him as like a snake oil salesman, basically. He's like kind of selling a cult of personality in himself and his product. But yeah,
every day I'm hustling.
Looks totally like just bullshit. And now we're meeting Jason Robards, our star, who his character is that he had a child at an old age. So, I'm guessing that Robert De Niro, Mick Jagger, Larry King, none of these guys really like this movie too much, because here's Jason Robards. Jason Robards in his 50s going like, I kind of have regrets about having a kid at such an old age. And they're like, hold my beer,
Yeah.
Maybe get off your wife once in a while. How about that?
It's called vasectomy. Excuse me. Get my drink here. Vasectomy. That's what it's called. Okay.
Is that the secret word?
Yeah.
Do we all scream now?
We do.
The secret word is vasectomy.
And we have a blonde kid who's not really blonde.
Yeah, these
and a black-haired kid who's not really black-haired.
Yeah,
they put wigs on them, or
sacred?
No, they dyed. No, they dyed them.
Yeah. After auditioning them over and over and over again, Ray Bradbury decided he liked the dark-haired kid for Will Holloway, and Jim Nightshade, who was blonde. I think it was more that he liked him for Jim Nightshade.
Yeah, they had auditioned for the opposite parts.
They were auditioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, let's swap you.
Oh, that's fun.
Although I don't understand, why did we have to dye their hair?
That's something I
don't know.
It might be from the writing. It might be like a specific.
I think there's a description of them.
Oh, there is. Yeah. One of them is the toe-headed boy.
Yeah.
We have sort of a proto Messy Marvin, the chocolate milk kid here.
Well, this whole movie production was a tug of war of power between the director and the writer, Ray Bradbury and Jack Clayton, after Ray Bradbury wound up feeling betrayed by Jack Clayton when he got a second version of the script written behind his back.
Oh my God. Imagine the drama over this powerful piece of human narrative. My God.
Did anybody else think he looked like Michael Looking Glass or Michael Looking Land or whatever his name was?
A little bit.
Bobby from the Brady Bunch.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, now that you mention it, yeah.
These two child actors are terrible. And I know, like, it's tough to be like, a child actor at this age, and it's actually difficult material because Bradbury keeps a lot of his like flowery language, which just comes across coming from a kid and his parent a lot better on paper than it does in a movie,
And
it
also the script sucks. Sorry, was I muted?
No, it's okay. Well, I think
we'll edit that out in post. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm still wondering what Adam thinks of this movie.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I love this. I love the first act. I love all of this. I love this part. I love it.
I love the whole fucking movie. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a fight.
We'll get there.
We vote at the end, guys. We vote at the end.
So
let's talk about Royal
That
Dano
has
some
nothing
more.
to do with how to vote, Jeff.
Yeah, so he steals some money from his mom. He buys a lightning rod from Royal Dano. Now, they've already done, in the introduction of this film, they've kind of introduced some of the characters of the town, the barber, the bar hand, the cigar shop owner. And these people aren't really like people. They're kind of caricatures,
singular.
Yeah, they're characters for sure. And
they're plot devices. Let's be real.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a morality play.
Yeah, and they're not meant to be anything else, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
the
it's
one
fine.
kid's mom is a basket case, and she's bedridden and whatever, and the father is absent. He's off in Africa getting cigarettes, and this is all
the barber's creepy. The barber's creepy.
Yes,
but I just
the barber is a total perv.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out really quick that the barkeep, who is short an arm and leg. He is, he was a professional actor before he was in an accident that took his girlfriend's life.
Oh God!
As well as his arm and leg, and he really wanted to continue acting, so he did.
Have we got a part for you?
Yeah,
oh, man.
And
I give an arm and a leg to be an actor.
Yeah,
So I was curious about that when he came on screen, of whether they found, just a veteran or someone, and got him acting, or if this was an actor. Clearly, this is long before green screen CGI was prevalent. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, before
great quote coming up.
Yeah, okay. Rolled on the plump, smooth thighs of Cuban ladies.
Man, that is such a weird line, and they say it more than once.
They say it more than once.
And like, I even as a kid, I remember thinking, like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, like, what's that all about?
Which begins my sort of question.
Smells to me like we're gonna have visitors. Like, here's
who is this aimed at? Who is the audience for this? Because
this was a weird period where Disney was like,
it wanted
unhappy
to be
with their kid.
They wanted to expand. They essentially wanted to grow up a little bit, right? They were tired of they wanted to branch away from rated G and animation and wanted to make advance into the older grown up market. And so they started with things like this. They start with what was that other horrible movie we watched?
The Black Hole.
That's the one.
The Black Hole was part of this. Dragon Slayer is part of this.
Yeah.
Dragon Slayer actually.
I love all of those movies. Shut your mouth.
So
Dragon Slayer is fucking awesome.
Yeah. In 1969, I think it was that Walt Disney passed away.
Yeah.
And then his son passed away like 5 years later. So
no, well, I don't know. When did Roy pass away?
I think Roy passed away in the mid 70s, right, or something like that.
No, Roy passed away much later than that.
Well,
he made it all the way up to
Epcot
opening Disney World, and then I think he passed away.
Well, someone new was in charge at Disney and looking to shake things up. So
look, point being, this
didn't all just happen in a vacuum.
This is not how you pivot, because what you've ended up with here is a movie that is like okay for kids, and parents will be groaning and rolling their eyes at. This is not how it's done. Dragon Slayer is how you do it.
Yeah. Well, they were right around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And this was also at the time that they did the Black Cauldron, which is like their one PG rated hand-drawn animated
which was
film.
supposed to be a lot more than it ended up being. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was a victim of many cuts.
I mean,
well, to talk about
puberty stage of Disney, it's just horrible, painful growing pains,
agony, acne, voice changing, sort of awkward period. Yes,
but it's not just. It wasn't just who Disney was at the time too. This project from Ray Bradbury went through so many iterations, and I do want to talk a little bit before we get back to the storyline about its origin, which actually started with one of Ray Bradbury's favorite films of all time after he first saw what he felt was the perfect musical.
Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain.
He's correct.
Yeah, he loved Gene Kelly in that film. He saw it as a science fiction film about the discovery of music. And he told Gene Kelly as much, and they got along well. And at his wife's suggestion, he decided to write a script for Gene Kelly. And he pulls out a short story he'd gotten paid $15 for, called The Dark Ferris, and he beefs it up to an 80-some page script. And Gene Kelly actually shopped it around. He liked it, and he wanted to do it. Who knows what that script was like? Don't you kind of wonder, what his 85-page bang
absolutely
from Sci-Fi Pulp was? And I believe it was still called The Dark Ferris. It was only after that collapse that he decided to turn it into a book, and it was a successful book. And then this thing gets shopped around. Columbia, MGM, I think, was another one of the ones, or Paramount. It's Columbia and Paramount. It sat languishing at Paramount for a long time. And at one point it had Kirk Douglas connected to star in it. And
that is a whale of a tale.
Yeah,
indeed.
different directors were looking at it, including at one point Steven Spielberg. And it just eventually and Sam Peckinpah. They were looking at Sam Peckinpah
really?
to direct it.
Peckinpah is the one that I would be like, I wonder what that would be like.
How would that have turned out?
What a timeline.
But it wasn't meant to be. And Jack Clayton was actually Ray Bradbury's choice. Because Ray Bradbury had written the script for Clayton's production, and he didn't direct it, but he produced Moby Dick in the 50s, and that was a Bradbury script. So he had a good opinion of Jack Clayton, not knowing what a freaking walking drama queen disaster that guy apparently was. Nonstop all the time. And I don't mean to speak ill of him. I mean, he's a talented guy,
But let's speak ill of him.
Yeah, but we're going to. So and they had a falling out, he I think it was practically a script throwing moment, where Ray Bradbury sees the changes that they've done to a script behind his back. And he doesn't quit the project either. He continues to show up to the set day after day, even though he doesn't
table
like
flip, if
what
you
they're
will.
doing. Yes. And Disney wasn't happy with the movie. They actually had Ray Bradbury doctor it up, including the narration at the start. All those lines that are taken directly from the book that are spoken in narration at the beginning and end.
So we have a couple of decent setups here.
Yeah.
That unfortunately pay off very poorly later.
It's some of them make more sense than others. It's
Yes.
true.
The swishy barber, that's fine. You know, the
greedy cigar guy.
What's the appropriate word in this day and age for our bartender here? The disabled bartender, which his payoff is just fucking ludicrous later. But yeah, there's some great stuff going on here in the first act, and this bit with the two kids have their backyards facing each other and they can cross back and forth through the tree. It's kind of cute, very much of children's novels of the age.
Yeah,
I think.
They tell you that they're old friends and have been forever, but you never really like it. I know it's intentional that there's a strain in their relationship, and as they're becoming adults, they're kind of going in different directions. I get that, but it just often feels like, why are these kids even tolerating each other's company?
Right.
Well, they're the only children in town, Jeff. They have no choice. I mean,
and come on, they were born within moments of each other.
As much as I love hanging out with Jason Robards, I mean, someone a little more my age.
It was foretold in the prophecy.
Yeah.
These are the children.
And the wind's blowing.
Now it should be said that like this is all now things are just kind of showing up and getting weird like real quick, and it's happened like very quickly and early in the film, and I personally kind of like that. You know, this is like a lot of the movies that we've watched from the 80s. It's like they waste no time. We're gonna get right into some weird shit.
Yes. And, by the way, in this perfectly normal town, we have a soap lady in a window. That's fine. That makes sense.
Yeah, but not really there.
Yeah. I do want to touch on what Black Life says. I like the look of a cigar in a movie. I don't like being around one at all, you know. And actually, I like smoking a cigar, but I don't really care for it when other people are smoking cigars.
Yeah, it's like Chinese food. If you're not the one eating it, it doesn't smell good.
Yeah, but you know, I'll smoke a cigar with you. You know, like. I am glad that we don't have those cigar store Indians anymore, because that's not
no, but that lighter though, that lighter is
that lighter is
the lighter.
His lighter's awesome. Yeah,
that's amazing,
legendary.
But yeah, this there is like some real continuity issue here, because like this night just goes on forever. Like so much stuff happens in this first night of the carnival, where they come in and Will and
the train approaches first, and then it lets off a few things.
Yeah,
having spent the night recently hanging out in an airport lobby, the night can go on forever.
The night can go on forever.
Oh no!
Yeah,
and this totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with the wizard on this one. You know,
relatable.
There he is, the harbinger.
Besides, it's the October in Midwest, dude. It's like dark out by like 7. So.
Yeah, they immediately hypnotize and go after Tom Fury, the lightning rod guy. And you know, when you first meet him, you think he's just bullshitting, and then you know. And that's Pam Grier, by the way.
Before I know.
What?
I know.
Yeah. What?
Is that really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The Dust Witch is Pam.
Yep.
Motherfucking Grier.
Yep.
All right. That's a feather in the cap of this film. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But
I feel like she's woefully underused, in my opinion. But yes, that's
we
Pam
still
Grier.
don't have an explanation for the soap lady. I don't understand why she's in a fucking window. In Main Street, like there's no.
I'm gonna give you that one. The soap lady makes no fucking sense. I tried and tried to figure that one out, and I think something must have got cut.
If any,
she's
Go
in
ahead.
the book, right? Like, didn't she come to town when the carnival came to
Uh-huh.
town? Am I remembering that right?
That would be nice if they
Yeah.
told us
Yeah.
that in the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If any of our younger viewers don't know what a soap lady is, when they dug out when they excavated a lot of early settlements in America, of white people settlements, people would just be buried in trash pits, and they would layer ashes from the fireplace or whatever on top of them, and it actually caused corpses to turn into a waxy soap-like substance.
Yeah.
From all of that. Check out the Mutter Museum if you're free. They have stuff like that. But yeah, that was the thing that actually happened. I wish they had given us just a throwaway line or something.
Yeah.
explain
That bothered me.
Yeah.
I had to go back. Like, did I miss something?
Mm-hmm.
Did I
Yeah.
look away? Made no fucking sense.
Yeah, there's definitely some murky muddiness in narrative and script in this film at times. There's definitely
We're
now
just getting started with the murkiness.
yeah, but I'm all about like just weird random crap happening, and it's
And,
like
that's the other thing. I have watched
Yeah.
enough, David Lynch and other folks to realize sometimes shit don't have to make sense. It's just there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like when the train comes, these guys go check out the train. The train is like definitely off and weird. There's nobody on it. It starts making this weird screeching, howling noise. They're like camped out watching the train next to a cemetery. The statues in the cemetery start glowing red for no freaking reason. It's just creepy and weird. Yeah.
Yeah. They put
I'm
some
okay with that if you can support it, but there's a lot of this.
Magic that could be supported.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. That all makes sense.
It's odd that they're in a graveyard, and the graves that have statues look like they're about to shatter from like these this great animation coming out of them, where they have cracks and there's stuff glowing out of them. But then they don't.
Beautiful Disney hand-drawn animation effects that you see in like Forbidden Planet or The Black Hole or whatever. And I do love them very much.
But that happens when you're next to an evil train. I'm telling you.
I believe it.
I have been next to an evil train and shit was shaking. And
so is that Pam Grier there?
That is Pam Grier.
That's
that's awesome. And sure enough, as soon as you guys said it, I thought about her face, and I'm like, my God, that is Pam Grier.
I didn't recognize her.
Yeah,
she's so good.
And of course,
even
the circus,
even without her voice.
And just so you know, like the slides weren't really accelerated there. When the boys follow the train, they discover that the carnival is installed. It's upright. Nobody's worked on it. It just appears.
It just appears.
Yeah.
There was
Magic Train.
Hell yeah.
There was a trim scene. Is that what you're going to say, Barbara?
Yeah.
About the trim scene? Yeah.
Yeah, where the smoke, as the steam or the smoke from the train settles into the shapes of the tents, and tree roots grow out and become the Ferris wheel and things like that.
Oh wow,
that sounds cool. Yeah, I like that.
And they cut it. So there you go.
That should be a bonus on the DVD.
Yeah,
agreed.
There should be a good release of this, because I'm sure there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff and edited scenes. There's a whole different cut of this movie that didn't do well, and so they brought in Ray Bradbury to like kind of re-edit it. They hired a different editor, and they took another crack at it, and they did another score, and they shot more scenes.
You brought up a great point, and I was going to ask about this because I just watched this last night with Laszlo and Eli, and we noticed in the scene with the tarantulas,
they grow
up. The boys are like a year older at least.
They grow. They are a year older.
They are a year older. They brought them all back to refilm it.
Aha! Well, that sums that up.
There's a scene near the end when they're running through the forest, the three of them.
Yeah.
Where you're like, if you look real close, that ain't them.
Yeah. And I think at one point you can tell that he has a really shitty black mask or wig. It's a really shitty black wig. You'll have to look for it, but I think it might be another grown up scene is in the Hall of Mirrors. So expect them to get taller and older in that scene as well.
Like of all movies where you could play with the aging and youthening of the characters, like why didn't they just incorporate it? Like just write it in.
Who knows?
They're older because they got on the merry-go-round.
Yeah, but like Ray Bradbury, when he would talk about this, he would say that he was essentially the director for all of the reshoots. But I would say it was more the assistant director. From what I was reading, it sounds like it was really more the professional guy, with Ray Bradbury just consulting. But anyway, they did a lot of they didn't just do a lot of work. They spent another $4 to 5 million on it. So this thing budgeted originally at 16 million, comes in. Reports vary from 20 to 22 million.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, because box office is 8.5 million.
Oh,
yeah. And then it winds up on HBO. But here they
Uncle Rico.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, but
I
said there was a little mouse sphincter puckering up at those dollars coming in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Dark Disney didn't always do so well,
Yeah.
But here they are. They're now at the carnival. That long night has finally ended, and she has. Or is this the evening? Is this still the night?
No, this is
the next day. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So their teacher has seen herself young in the Hall of Mirrors. The barkeep, who only has one arm and one leg, he saw him set his arm and leg come back. It's an animated shot that does not involve his face, so it's a stand-in. Like, let me just. I wanted to pause for a second when she's in that veil. Damn,
it's so cool.
Yeah, that spiderweb lace is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And she creeped me out when I was a kid too. Like, she's genuinely creepy.
That's her job.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, they do some special effects animation with her character that's pretty effective. And she is reading his palm, but she's basically setting him up to, I mean, this guy is like obsessed with women, right?
Right.
It's pretty creepy and leery when you first meet him, and he's like, I love perfume. I love powders.
He's a bird.
Well, who doesn't?
The scent of a lady's skin.
He's been stuck in the rural Midwest for a long time. I mean, let's give him a little bit of slack here.
And he's the cigar owner has won the money, which, in whatever year this is, 1930 something, is not an insignificant amount.
Yeah, that.
I won $1,000. I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah.
$1,000
is a lot of money, and then they do the plump thighs line.
It seems excessive.
Yeah, he gives him a cigar from the plump thighs of
a Cuban lady. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
I mean, how would you even roll a cigar on someone's thigh? Like, just logistically, that
challenge accepted.
I think it's a skill only Cuban women know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did we steamroll you, Barbara? Did you still have? I feel like you were like mid-sentence when
she left.
Okay. We started talking about thighs.
Oh, I'm here. I think the misconception is that they are rolled between their thighs. They are rolled on top of their thighs.
Oh, moistened, if you will.
Of their thighs,
wow.
Not in between their thighs.
That is not appropriate for a children's movie.
No.
I was a bit confused when I was really young and watched this. I was like, what is I don't understand.
They're rolled on top of the thighs, like you're
on the thighs, not in the
on
thighs.
top of the thighs,
Like
not
your thigh
in
is a
between
table.
the thighs, right?
But I mean, that also
Right.
seems like, wouldn't it be easier on a flat surface?
I agree.
Well, it would
Okay.
be.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I don't know
Sorry,
the working
I'm-
conditions in Cuba. Sorry.
Probably
If a
not
man
so-
was rolling a cigar, he would do it on a table. But a woman,
Yeah, probably a little more aromatic that way.
I don't know. It
So the
doesn't make
women
a
are
difference to
rolling
me.
the cigars in Cuba.
Yeah,
Well, I
that
hope
is.
they're getting well compensated.
No, I mean that's a traditional thing. Is that the
Oh, okay.
you would have male and female cigar rollers. I've seen a lot of documentaries.
Who run Bartertown?
Yes.
Master Blaster run.
Master Blaster. Master, who runs Circus?
Well, okay, so this is one of the first scenes where I start to become disappointed in the carnival scenario because one, the hoochie girls are overly dressed,
right?
Way overly dressed.
Well, it's still a Disney movie,
and I'm not. I'm not just saying that as a biological male. I'm just saying that it's a little whatever. The carnival. Okay, so there's a very distinct lack of establishing shots in this entire film. There are very few wide shots in this film. It suffers from the very traditional Disney style of storytelling. You know, you can go back to Norman Foster and Alfeco Baga and all of the serials, Davy Crockett and whatever. They're very tightly framed, and you just sort of go from tight frame to tight frame, and you lose a lot of the atmosphere. Like if this movie had 2 minutes more of wide shots of this carnival, it would be 10 times creepier.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, you're right.
It's weird, the lack of establishing shots in this movie.
Yeah,
well, I think they were doing it all on those, backlot sound. They just
right.
room,
Don't make excuses.
Right.
No, I'm saying they chose not to do a better job of it because of that.
The wizard is correct. It's a reason, not really an excuse. But Adam is totally right. Yeah, lack of establishing shots. It's a shame. Yeah, it does suck. They use like green screens too on when they do have them, and it looks a little goofy.
It sometimes looks kind of canned.
It loses a lot of atmosphere for not having these sort of wider shots where it's more like a soap opera sort of framing, and that's very much in the style of Disney at this time, or coming out of that style from the 60s and 70s. But it's very noticeable to me.
Yeah, want to add that actor, and I'm sorry I don't know his name. I should have had a note with his name in it.
Angelo Rosito.
Angelo Rosito. He was also in Freaks. Todd Browning's Freaks.
Yes.
So
as Angelino.
So this guy is really like he's one of the greats, and I do love the character of Master Blaster. It's probably really the only thing I love a whole bunch about that movie.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah.
He's also in Hell's a Poppin'.
He's in Hell's a Poppin'.
What?
He's in Hell's a Poppin'.
Hell's a Poppin'.
The 1941.
Well, wait. Why no? The Hell's a Poppin' you're talking about, but I don't remember him being in it.
It's not credited, but he's in it.
Interesting.
Wow. Is he one of the little devil guys at the beginning?
I think so.
Oh yeah, he must be. Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
Great. That's
How cool.
great.
Okay, so here's another
made like 50 movies.
Here's another problem I have here. Okay, these kids already got busted, right?
Yeah, they've gotten busted repeatedly.
But they've been spanked, literally spanked, and they're still creeping around and crawling under tents halfway so they can be discovered from both sides.
It's this Mr. Nightshade motherfucker.
It's terrible. It's terrible blocking. It's terrible storytelling.
He's a bad kid.
Jim Nightshade is a bad kid. Ray Bradbury probably wants you to know that without a father figure, you're just going to raise a little bastard, is what you're going to do. And
that explains me.
And not only is he going to take himself down, he's going to find the good kid in town, the kid who reads, the kid who gets his ass kicked, and he's going to take him down too. Every time these guys go from one bad thing, they just go straight to the other. They're terrible children.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah.
Look,
and then the blonde kid's dad's a wimp.
Yeah.
I'm old. I can't swim.
They're the only two children in a rural Midwestern town in the 30s. They're bored as fuck, dude. Like, you can't blame them for these. They're just like, you can't do that. No, fuck off. I'm doing it anyway. I mean, come on.
If he came from a traditional family, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Was this not a Trump rally?
I'm old. I can't swim.
But we are about to meet the most entertaining character in the film.
Yeah, the reason to watch this movie is about to show up.
Yep. The man.
The myth.
The High Sparrow.
There he is.
There he is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Jonathan Pryce in a role that is like the exact opposite of the one he's usually known for.
And what a waste.
In Brazil. And
he's trying so hard here. And the script just can't be saved. I really love Jonathan Pryce.
Okay, so let me ask you
I'm going to
this.
disagree because I still loved it.
I still love him too in this part. But let me ask you. So there were a couple of other characters that they really wanted for him. One, Christopher Lee.
Okay.
And the other was Peter O'Toole.
Yeah.
No, not Peter O'Toole.
Yeah. Peter O'Toole was Ray Bradbury's choice, I believe, was the one he wanted, but too expensive.
But the budget couldn't afford him, but they could afford Jonathan Pryce, who was relatively unknown at the time. So here we are.
How about a young Peter Stormare?
Yeah, he has a tattoo that moves. By the way, I just wanted to point out that
love that Stormare,
and it's so good. That is so good, man. Like
we charge extra for that.
Yeah. Great animation in that. Of course, we can't see the animation in our slides, but it looks.
It was a good effect. It was a very good effect.
And if Mr. Dark approached me and was like as full on creepy as he is here, and is like, check out my tattoo, I'd have the same reaction as the kids. I'd just be staring right at it, like, holy fuck, dude. Where did you get that done? How much did that cost?
It's the Christine.
Please take my money.
Can I get on the list?
Yeah.
Christine Well used to do the same thing.
So he shows up. He thoroughly scares the bejesus out of these children. Yeah. And I remember when I was a little kid, like he creeped me out in this scene as well. I loved that effect. It creeped me out, and he creeped me out with his little cane. Watching it now as an adult, it's a little cheesy. It's a little hokey.
By the way, if you will eat 6.5 to 7 grams of psilocybin mushrooms,
I will.
See tattoos do that.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's why I tried to do that.
Wouldn't be the first time.
But I still like the scene. I still like every moment that Jonathan Pryce is in this film.
Yes.
Jonathan Pryce is so good in this movie.
He's doing his best with what he's got, for sure.
He's making some lemonade out of lemons. So I'm gonna say it. I think he really does.
See, here he is. He's instigating.
Yeah.
But the kick is
always. Yeah.
He's like, no, let's just hide somewhere and get in more trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bad children decisions.
Yeah.
We've all done it. Some of us make bad adult decisions.
No.
I would not be able to stay away from something called the Pandemonium Circus. If I saw that sign, I'd be like, yep, I have to check out the Pandemonium Circus.
Well, after you
I don't
get
know what
caught
that means, but I gotta see it. Yeah.
It might be time to go.
Yeah.
They get a pair of tickets the first time they get their asses whipped. And then it just gets worse.
I know. And then they establish that, like, yes, something truly sinister is happening here. His big, burly, right-hand man.
Henchman.
his henchman gets on the carousel and goes backwards and becomes a kid, a really creepy kid.
So
I mean,
creepy.
I'm not one of those people that says that gingers have no souls, but he is putting out that gingers have no souls vibe.
Well, I mean, he has no soul.
He has no soul. Yeah.
I have enough soul for all of you, and I'm
Yeah.
He looks like the gentleman that just passed away. His name is slipping my mind, but from Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight Run, the actor.
Oh, John. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm blanking, but he does bear a resemblance. It's not him.
No.
And we're not real. Okay, so here's another minute of the script falling apart. We don't really get any reason why this guy has been put on the carousel.
Yeah, their goal is vague.
Well, yeah, they send him with the teacher lady to influence her.
Well,
As a student?
They
Yeah.
say that she's meeting her nephew.
No, her nephew.
Yeah.
And
But
he's
shows-
becoming her nephew.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But without any kind of real context, like, has she never met her nephew before?
Right.
Well, no, because she's high as fuck. They've messed with
So
her
am
head.
I.
She's been hypnotized.
Yeah, he's also
They hypnotized her in the mirror maze.
Yeah, they're all under the influence of dark spells, dude.
Yeah, well,
like this is all just
for the next 45 minutes. There is just this after this after this, where things are poorly explained. Things happen to people, and they don't really connect well enough to be cohesive.
I don't know. I followed all of this one. This all made sense to me.
Well, I want what you're having because
and see right here. Hopefully, I caught this one.
Yeah. Well, look, they're all acting very sweet. He ran up and rang the doorbell.
My nephew Robert.
Yeah, my nephew Robert is here. Yeah, and turns out it's the weird, creepy, soulless kid.
It's Cougar.
And Mr. Cougar. And,
yeah, I thought this was all incredibly. I thought this was all incredibly creepy when I was a kid.
That kid is the fucking devil.
But,
yeah.
My
That
question
kid,
is,
why? He is the devil.
Why?
To influence her more.
Why?
They're playing games with her head to suck her pain.
Yeah.
They're feeding off of her pain.
Yeah, they're like energy vampires.
Oh, okay.
They butter their plain bread with delicious pain.
It's just
I got to go to the kitchen.
I don't have a problem with stories that have evil just being evil. Like I'm absolutely 100% on board with it if it's supported. And it just scene after scene in this movie, it feels like stuff is just happening.
Tasteless fare, funerals, bad marriages, lost loves, lonely beds. That is our diet. We suck that misery and find it sweet.
Yeah, I'm.
We search for more.
They're collecting. Yeah, they're collecting souls.
It sounds like the new intro for B-sides.
I'm telling you, it's fucking awesome.
Okay, well, I'm listening, and maybe you can educate me on this because I just did not get it.
It's muddy. I mean, you're a lot of what you're saying is absolutely right. It's not spelled out. It's not spelled out extremely clearly.
I'm also gonna guess at this point you're not as prone to pick up on some of it because you're sitting here going, "This is so ugly. Why it's not shot right?"
No, I
Really?
can be objective. I've worked on films. I can be.
No, I
very
know. That's why I'm
objective, but
saying you're.
No, it's not that. I can compartmentalize
just
when I'm watching films. It's just a pile of shortcomings for me. It's like this isn't right. That's not right. This is weird. I like this part, but this is weird, and this not. I'm not. I didn't shut myself off at any point.
No. But what I'm saying is, I think you may have missed some of the stuff that does make sense because
Okay.
You're picking up on everything that is wrong.
I feel
because that's how you watch it.
You're not saying shut your brain off, are you? Because
No,
if you
not at all.
are, I'll kick you right out of here.
No, that's not at all what I'm saying.
Okay. I did like
This
that.
dude,
there was a brief moment in that last scene where Nightshade goes home to his mom, and she's like got a guy over, who's not, of course, the least bit interested in him, and
relatable,
and yeah, like, you know, there's something about this movie that I actually really like, and I think I liked it and found it interesting, compelling as a kid, and definitely as an adult. Like this is a quality in the rewatch, is that these kids like experience in an adult world, like you have these really not easy moments, and I that was one I really liked.
Hear me out one more second. I agree with you. I think that is one of the great touches that this movie has, and it does have a lot of great touches. The problem is that the narrative does not stay consistent with the kid's point of view. And in the second half of this movie, it switches to adults' point of view for no good reason, and it falters really badly. We lose the POV of the children pretty much right here in the movie. I love the idea of seeing adults' reality, regular reality, from children's point of view, which can be surreal. But this movie drops the ball with that halfway through.
I will give you that, absolutely.
Yeah,
there were a lot of subtleties that I did not that I definitely did not pick up on when I watched this as, you know, a teenager, probably half-heartedly, admittedly. You know, I did find that, you know, memory serves, I found the movie creepy, but not as creepy as the story itself when I read it. And I think that left me a little bit disappointed even back then. But there is a disjointedness about this film that when as on a rewatch, I went back and thought, God, that's really odd. Why would you make that choice? And I didn't even notice like the lack of establishing shots the way Adam did. But I will say, I agree with him. I think that could have lent a lot more to it had a little bit more craft in cinematography had been applied.
Yeah, or like early on, there's a few shots where they're like running
there's
through
a few,
town,
right? There's a
you know,
few,
which, you know,
but then none. There's
and then nothing after that.
Yeah, nothing after that. Right.
And so,
have you guys seen Millions? That is a great movie based on like a young child's point of view. I don't know, it's 25 years old now or whatever. It's a kid who finds a suitcase full of money on the train tracks. It's great because it excels at showing the child's point of view and his thought process and everything in that weird situation. This lacks that in spades. This is the opposite of that. It kind of punts halfway through.
The other part of it is that when it's very vague, and you only pick up on so many things about the people that they're collecting, and it's not really until you have this upcoming scene between Mr. Dark and Jason Robards in the library later that everything kind of comes into perspective. But it could have been, you know, I think it could have been filled out a little bit more. I still really enjoyed going back and rewatching this. But I think that there's a huge difference between my 15-year-old brain then and my 56-year-old brain now. That makes me go, wow, what a weird choice. What a weird framing. Why is this so muddy? Why isn't this clearer? And I feel like there's definitely issues with the script. There's issues with the cinematography, and yet I still really enjoyed watching it. So I'm not. I think we know what my vote's going to be, but honestly, there are issues with
God,
this
yes.
movie.
Yeah. Well, I thought this scene that we're on right now, the "I'm old, I can't swim" scene, where he absolutely insists on explaining to his son that when his son was young and got swept out in an undertow, he couldn't do anything to help him because he never learned how to swim. Like, that's kind of how, I don't know, like, not hands-on he is as a librarian. They'll establish
that's the other thing.
Reestablish that, like, he's always just lived through books or like vicariously. He's never done it himself.
Yeah.
But then the worst thing of all, and my drunken neighbor had to be the one to save you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The shithead that left poor Jim Nightshade all by himself with his party and mom.
Diane Ladd. And Diane Ladd. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like she's absolutely wasted in this movie.
You're right. Yeah. She's
absolutely
like one good scene. Like one good scene. But yeah.
This movie's kind of it's not just the script. I think that there are some poor editing decisions. I get the feeling that a lot more was shot than what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was mistakenly cut out.
Yeah, I think so too.
There is some interesting sounding stuff that wound up on the cutting room floor. Mm-hmm. There was like some shot with a giant hand for Mr. Dark. From Mr. Dark has a giant hand that reaches out to grab the kids, and it sounds like they actually shot some darker stuff than what they used.
That would make sense.
And that was part of what Disney wanted from their reshoots.
This movie was riddled with reshoots, and I think that's one of the problems that they have with it. Yeah. It's what the earliest.
It's so jumpy.
It feels like one of the earliest editions of Disney making a film by committee.
Yeah. This was taken away from Jack Clayton after he turned in his cut. They test run the cut, and they were like, nope, not going to work. And
it feels like it.
So they really, they really messed with it a lot. And it's kind of like when Jack Clayton made this movie, he hadn't made a movie. This is 1982 when he shot. He hadn't made a movie since 1974.
What movie was that?
That was The Great Gatsby.
Okay.
And so, like, I mean, The Great Gatsby successful. Like this is like, again, another like well accepted movie from an established director. But then like he just constantly had projects fall apart. Sometimes only a few weeks from starting to shoot. An insane amount of pre-production going on, and it wasn't always his bad attitude. Like one time it was a sick mom who, unfortunately wound up passing away. He passed on The Tenet, which went to Roman Polanski. He passed on Alien, which went to Ridley Scott. And there was a Sidney Pollack film that was an establishing film for Sidney Pollack that he worked on, but then ultimately wound up not doing. And some of the films that he ended up not doing but working on were successful. Some of them really weren't. And he says that the stress from all of this and the disappointment and the hurt all led to his health problems later. He had a stroke and lost his ability to speak. And he kind of attributed his professional problems with, having that stroke. And he actually hid the fact that he couldn't speak, and he just had his wife with him all the time because he was afraid that he would get further blacklisted in Hollywood if they knew he had a stroke.
Yeah, well, directing it when you can't speak may be a handicap. Yeah. I mean, these are all things that really happen, and they're very real. And making a movie is exhausting and horrible, and it sucks. Frankly, like you really have to love making movies to sit through making a movie. It's demoralizing and exhausting, and it's bad for you physically and mentally and spiritually. Yeah. So, I mean, all of these things may be very true.
Well,
we can only judge. We can only judge the final product that we're given.
Yeah. I mean, much worse than other directors. Jack Clayton got it, and he got it all the time. And it is kind of sad that it took him so long. What is that? 8 years. It took him 8 years to finally get something off the ground. Is because Ray Bradbury wanted him to do it. And then the end product isn't really even something he can exactly own,
Right.
Right. That was taken from him.
Yeah. Ray Bradbury actually owned this. The cut you're seeing, this is Ray Bradbury saying, like, we saw Jack Clayton's movie. He described it as not good, said that exactly. And he, Ray Bradbury felt this movie was much better as a result of, all the changes that they had made. A lot of which was did come directly from him. Jack Clayton had picked a score. He had picked a composer that he had worked with several times before. And Disney didn't like the score, said it was way too dark. So the score written by Jack, what is it, Horner? Is that his name? Yeah. The score written by Jack Horner, who's done some popular films, felt real derivative to me. I felt like he kind of phoning it in a little bit. That's my rant. I'm ranting. Talk about Jack Clayton. R.I.P.
The school teacher here was also in one of my favorite episodes of the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh,
you have favorite episodes of the Andy Griffith Show?
Yeah, don't you?
Well, did you like
the one with Don Knotts in it? I don't know.
That's all of them. All of like the first 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the best thing on the show by far.
But the poor school teacher gets granted her youth, but she loses her sight.
We're getting the monkey's paw here, but it falters later.
Yeah,
quite soon actually, with the bartender.
With the bartender and the cigar store owner.
It's not consistent and it's not explained. It just sort of is happening on screen, and it really starts to get under my fingernails.
I will say there is a lot of running, kids running in this movie. And I, to the extent that I told the boys last night, I was like, I think these guys are going to be like Olympic marathon runners when they grow up, because these two cover some ground. Let me tell you, they really do.
And you're running with your newsy cap. And you're running.
Why weren't they allowed to have a bike?
And now these kids are they're arguing again, and
they don't like each other.
Yeah, and again he says, like, you'll ditch me, because you're going to get on that merry-go-round and become an adult without me, and you'll ditch me. And he had already said, like, Dad, I don't want to ditch you by going into the house before you. It was a really awkward line. That whole scene between him and his dad is awkward. Like, I get what they're going for. I also think, like,
climb.
Yeah, I also think that, like, Jason Robards was maybe a little too old of a choice, but it just sometimes comes across. And sometimes he seems older than other times too. Like, I don't know.
I love this scene so much.
Oh yeah.
All right.
This is the reveal of the lightning rod guy actually being in on everything. He's not a charlatan.
It's not good though. It's not good. And they
I
also,
disagree.
Hey, well, before we decide whether it's good or bad, let's talk about what's happening. That's all I'm going to say. You know,
okay, all right, set it up. Somebody who enjoyed the movie set it up.
Go for it, Gravy.
Well, yeah, it's like this is a funny scene. It is a little like what's going on, but like, you know, he's trying to get some answers out of Tom Fury and, you know, figure out when the lightning and the rainstorm's going to come, because apparently this has an adverse effect on their whole operation.
And where does the lightning go?
Yeah,
when the storm is over.
He's trying to figure that out, and he's like, "Hey, here's the woman," and you know, like, yeah. So there you go. So obviously, like, yeah.
Well done.
Oh, it's all clear to me now.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
clear as an unmudded stream, sir.
I changed my opinion. This is a cool scene, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel substantiated, and also. Once they pull the switch on the lightning rod guy, he gets put on pause for like 8 hours in movie time, and then we come back to him, and he's still being electrocuted. It is absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
Well, he's Tom Fury, and he didn't choose that name. That name chose him.
I wish a cool name would choose me.
Tom Fury says the lightning will save the world.
Yeah, I actually did find this scene a bit strange last night when I watched it. I was like, yeah, okay.
Well, it makes sense in terms of like the pit of irony and all of that.
Yeah.
Like, this is all fine, except that it gets put on pause.
Oh, here's the gory severed head. Disney! Disney!
Oh,
Disney.
Man.
Yeah.
Disembodied child's head. I love it.
Yeah. I like the revelation is that Tom Fury actually does know when it's going to storm, does know when it's going to lightning. And apparently if this circus gets stuck in lightning because it lights the corners of the world, they'll get fucked. Yeah. That's yeah, exactly.
What?
So that's what you missed. You missed him saying that lightning lights the corners of the world. And it shines a light on our, our naughty bad.
I think it's time for my pills.
So, yeah.
All of which will make sense later when something else is revealed.
Maybe.
So you're getting
so you say.
You're getting pieces.
But what I like about that,
let's get you back to bed, Grandpa.
Yeah. All right. That Roosevelt. I'm telling you, that Roosevelt is no good.
Okay, here we go with the spiders. Like, everyone get ready for tarantulas. This is
Listen to your mom. I'm old and tired. Now, go away.
Don't forget what I told you, son, about how a drunk saved your life.
And I didn't.
Don't forget how useless I am. And good night, and I love you. And
How do you waste Diane, lad? My God.
I don't know, but it's true. It's difficult.
These tone shifts in the conversations between the son and the father. There's one very early.
They're bizarre. They're very strange.
Right after the first act. Right after the first act,
it feels so stinted. Yeah.
The son starts talking to the father as if he's the elder, wiser one, but it never comes back. It never pays off. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, it's it's been chopped up.
It is very choppy.
Drink your milk. But yeah,
drink your Ovaltine. Son of a bitch!
But there was a key bit of info in both of those convos. And in this one, it's that Grandpa knew a lot about evil.
Yeah, and that makes sense with the librarian archetype. That's fine.
But what's going to happen next or later when you find out they've been here before and Grandpa was the one that stopped them then?
Why isn't he more helpful when the child is struggling?
Because he doesn't know all of this yet. He hasn't figured any of this out himself. He's a wuss. He's a wimp.
But he uses the power of librarian. Yeah.
And then he becomes a better man.
He absorbs the Dewey Decimal System into his soul.
Dewey Decimal this motherfucker.
Hadouken.
Again, I'm not saying the story was told well, but there's a good story here.
I'm listening to you, Wizard. I'm listening to you.
I'd like to read this book. I never did read it.
In the book, I can't remember, but in the book, I don't think he was a librarian. I think he was the janitor at the library or something like that.
That would be more interesting, actually.
Yes, because he would
You're
be
right.
more of a wimp.
That's right. You're right. He's the janitor. You're right.
He was like a janitor. He wasn't like the librarian. He was
we do
janitor.
get some good practical effects here. The ceiling effects are good. They look good. They hold up.
Yeah.
This
scene's creepy. Scene's creepy, man.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah, this creeped me out hard.
This is the reshoot that I was gonna say I knew that about these tarantulas is I know it's a creepy they're very creepy looking, but they're actually quite friendly and easy to handle. So
yeah, it's probably why they were able to put like 1,000 of them in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although no, the kids had a lot of problems because there were so many of them that the kids were swamped their nostrils and their skin with the hair.
Oh yeah.
They throw those hairs off and they're really irritating. And it turns out when you have this many of them, that's a problem.
I'm irritated.
Yeah. Well, this is also the scene where they're older.
They found puberty.
Yeah,
on the Ferris wheel.
So this is a reshoot here. Yeah.
Sorry, Grandpa, I have to go watch Lazy Town right now.
Yeah. He gets in bed, he gets under the cover, and then the cover's moving. Ah!
It's not a bad scene. It's not a bad scene.
The pirate is free. Yeah. You are a pirate.
Yeah. And at one point, he does step on a fake tarantula, so you get this like tarantula crush under his foot. And I was like, oh no. But, I mean, it's fake, but, still. It was barefoot.
Yeah, this scene is effective. It's pretty well blocked out, and it's pretty good for a dream sequence. I'm okay with this. Why wasn't this toy introduced earlier? We don't know.
He has toys. He's a kid.
Yeah, sure. Here's one now.
Yeah. Boy, look at him next to his wife too. Like it's really quite an age difference here. Like I feel like they overdid it there.
I'm old, but I can still get it up.
I can
still read.
Okay, so now the carnival has been in town for at least 2 days. And now we're getting a parade. And nothing that happens in this fucking scene makes any fucking sense.
Yes,
they're
actually,
looking for the kids.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
they're
looking for the kids.
They're looking for the kids, and it shows what happens to all. It shows what happens.
Why would you stage a parade when you're trying to abduct 2 children?
Oh, because you're evil and show off. You're evil and magic, and you show shit off.
They're carrying coffins, child-sized coffins.
The symbology is fine. I like that. I like that very much.
How dare you, Black Lives?
But
how dare you?
But none of the actual action and the blocking in this scene make any fucking sense whatsoever. None of it. It's terrible.
Again, I am about to say something that in no way am I going to compare this movie to what I'm about to say. But that is the kind of thing. You could drop that scene into a David Lynch movie. You could drop that scene into a Werner Herzog movie, and everybody's just going to go, yeah, of course, sure.
No, this is not Lynch or Herzog.
Though. Oh, no, I'm not saying it is by any means.
But yeah, a good director could make this work, and this doesn't work here. The reveal of the bartender being a young guy with all of his limbs it had the opposite effect on me. I'm like, he's cured. Why can't he run a bar as a young boy? He's got both of his arms. Like, none of this makes any goddamn sense to me.
I do think the town would accept him as a young boy and still their bartender. You know, it's the 1930s. I'm sure
it's not
fine.
that weird.
Yeah, not that weird.
I also, like I like the monkey's paw thing. Like, okay, the homely.
Wizard, did you like him in the Andy Griffith Show? Because he's been in a few episodes.
I didn't like anything in the Andy Griffith Show, so we can just move on. The bearded lady, the bearded lady is okay, but like again, there's no monkey's paw there. He got what he ostensibly wanted. The bartender got what he wanted, but only the old school marm somehow got afflicted with blindness. Like, I don't. It's inconsistent.
I think
right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think the bearded lady was supposed to be taken as very much a monkey's paw.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's an insulting thing. Sure,
it doesn't play well.
Not today, for sure.
No.
And the cigar owner got turned into his cigar store Indian. You know,
and that's bad. How?
He only craves money. He got the symbolism of his money.
This just doesn't work for me.
Well, here he is confronting his dad for the first time, telling him he describes the two to his dad, and his dad is trying to play it cool and be like, "Yep, I have no idea who you're talking about," and runs off. I like the fact that they just broke into the bar anyway. They were like, he hasn't opened the bar. Well, this isn't going to stop me.
I'm going to drink otherwise.
I need my beer. I need it.
He probably wouldn't mind.
Yeah. And I'm going to steal a cigar as well.
That cool lighter would make me smoke. I mean, that's enough.
Yeah.
Then
he
my God.
Yeah. He's on his hands. He's got their faces tattooed. How can you deny knowing them now?
I woke up in front of 8 Ball, and here it is. Yeah.
I'm back. I had to take a little break, guys.
And all my money's gone. This is kind of a cool trick. It's all right.
It's really kind of tense scene between the two, and I
wish it was better. I do. It's not bad, but I wish it was better. Jonathan Pryce is giving it. He's absolutely doing it. It just feels like it's not as good as it could be.
Absolutely. I will give you that.
He clutches his hand and it bleeds. I don't think we had that in this. And again, like pretty gory for Disney, you know.
Yeah. I like how the blood drips on young Holloway's face as he's hiding in the little underneath the grate. I really like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
But it is true that some pretty awkward blocking had to take place in order for that to happen.
Yeah. Although I'm going to say that this right here could be my favorite few moments of this film. The band starts playing this weird dour song, and this guy just glares.
Playing a funeral dirge.
Dirge.
And he's staring straight at him, like just killing him with his eyes. You know, like. Yeah. And even when I was a kid, I remember it unsettled me badly, and I was very scared for him and the kids and everything. Like, and then this happens, and you're like, "What? Everything spiraled out of control. This is terrifying." You know.
He gets the use of his leg and his arm right, but he's a child. He can't go play for big football teams.
But he will when he gets older.
Still will. Yeah, this is not a particularly bad deal in my
opinion.
This unless he has to go through losing his limbs again. There's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah. No, he's about to enter puberty with carnal knowledge. I mean, like that kid's gonna be all right.
Just wait it out.
Yeah, him and the bearded lady are going to go.
Yeah,
the girls want it as bad as you do. You just don't know it yet.
They're going to be their own like Randy sitcom. You know? After 8 on CBS.
Just falls short. And oh god, here we go with this scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This is terrible. I'm sorry, it's terrible.
I like this shot in the library though.
If he can find the kids in the library, why couldn't he find them under the sidewalk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think he finds him in the library because Will speaks. He yells, "Don't believe him, Dad," or something like that.
Well, yeah, the kid screws up in the dumbest way possible, but if he can sense the kids, and he does sense them from the moment he steps into the library, why couldn't he do that in the town square?
Yeah, he was standing right over them.
Yeah, he's literally standing on top of them.
But you know,
I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest.
It's very obvious you don't have a problem, Gravy.
There were too many other people around.
You're wrong.
The signal was dampened because there was so many people. Here, it's almost empty.
Yeah, it's a library. It's quiet.
So it's easy to detect.
You could smell them easier.
Yeah.
And believe me, those children do smell. They've been running around all day.
I will be the first to tell you. I'll be the first to tell you that boys smell. They smell really bad.
Boys
and the more of them there are, the more they smell.
They have not bathed the entire film.
Yeah, and they probably like peed in the corner or something. You know, like they stink.
Boys are stinky. They really are.
Even when they bathe, they stink.
Yeah.
Because they resent bathing too. Like, man, let me tell you, kids are weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I don't want to nap. I don't want to bathe.
Yeah. I actually got told once that. It's like, I don't care. I want to be stinky. Like, what's the matter with you? Who wants to be stinky?
Boys.
I don't know.
It's right. Yeah, they do.
I'm a boy. I can't.
I'm just a boy. I wish Jamma was here to tell us about his swimming story.
So he he knows that the boys are in there somewhere. He just doesn't know exactly where they are. So he's just kind of just fucking with his dad, like he's really laying on the creepy. This is where the line something wicked this way comes, which is taken from Macbeth. Like they kind of have a little exchange where they read some lines from the book. It's all like not really too bad, honestly.
It's okay.
And then eventually
it's not Angel Heart, but it's okay.
Yeah. So he reveals to him, like, he's like, you are the autumn people. Where do you go? To the grave. He's like, yes, we are the hungry ones. And so he's admitting to him that, like, yeah, we're evil, we're supernaturally evil, like we're here to fuck with you, like, not unlike the curse, like this, the mission these guys are on is not really sustainable, like on a long enough timeline, they destroy the world, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Misery.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And then he starts like taking this, I guess it's a diary or journal that his dad wrote about the incident before.
Yeah.
And he takes the book out and
starts burning the pages.
Yeah, and he's like, and he's making like a devil's offer to him too. Like, hey, I can give you your years back. I can give you your youth back. You're old with a weak heart. And but if you give me those kids, I'll make you young again. You can have a healthy heart again. And now
can someone explain to me why, when he's tearing these pages out and burning them, it has a physical effect on Jason Robards?
His because his grandpa wrote it. His dad wrote it. It's
Well,
dad's journal.
That doesn't follow.
I think it's the years. I think it has to do with the years.
Is he sucking the years out of his existence or something?
It is interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's losing the time again, which I thought was really unnerving and creepy.
Like it almost makes sense to me, but I can't quite.
Like he's off. Okay, so he's offering. I think I get it. He's offering the years where he had peak life at 31. He's still young.
Before children, you know what I mean?
And then he just starts escalating it,
Yeah.
Oh, 35, you can still run upstairs. Oh, 38, things are getting harder.
You're also going to get older as I'm doing this, though.
Yeah.
You're going to have the opposite effect of what I'm offering.
But if he's burning away the years of this man's life, how does that make him older? I don't quite get it.
Well, it's not making him older. It's almost like he's breaking his spirit and his heart, and he's like ripping the years away all over again.
The good memories.
And I mean, you're talking about a guy who's like obviously been wallowing in his regret and self-reflection, self-pity, even.
Okay.
And this guy is like just shoving daggers into it. This is my favorite scene in the movie. And watching it last night again, I mean, especially as an aging person myself, like it was rough. And I mean, he's like really laying into him at this point, like 40, and like an auction, like a mad auctioneer, and it's really fun. And but also like me and the boys agreed, like this is an extremely messed up scene, and like what he's doing to him is messed up. And,
because he's extremely like of course like tempted to be like, yes, I'll go back to being 30, but he can't do it because what is he pressuring him to do? Give up his son,
And the other thing that's happening here is he's doing this, he's torturing this guy, and he's feeding off of the pain that he's causing. This guy's having a fucking meal here.
I get that, but...
Feed me. So you've got an energy vampire.
Yes.
Yeah. But in a different way, an emotional vampire.
Keep energy vampires out of our public libraries.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't belong there. And he just keeps going. He's an asshole. Oh, what an ass.
Worst Tinder date ever. I knew something was weird when he was like, yeah, meet at the library. The library? All right. It's a small town. And then another piece of gore. Like, this is a very uncomfortable, looking moment. I don't know if we'll get a slide or not, but Jason Robards falls. He reaches up to help him up, and instead just like crushes his hand until the skin bursts open. Like somebody thought about like the bones in your hand and how how that was going to work. Because this is Disney, pretty much everything effects wise, animation and stuff was in house, but they did bring in Stan Winston and his company.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, he's uncredited, I think. But he also does Mr. Dark at the very end too.
Yeah, he's uncredited, and that is the Mr. Dark that they shot a lot more of than what you see because it was too fucking scary for Disney. Like that was the reason why they cut a lot of the Winston effects at the end, is because they were just too scary.
And so now he is making the offer to the kid, young Mr. Nightshade, to be his partner. And the kid's thinking about it awful hard.
Yeah, because you get glory and a dad, like his dad ran out on him. And when I read stuff, it suggested that he was making up the stories about his dad going to Africa and stuff. But when I heard him actually make that explanation, it seemed more like maybe that's what his mom was telling him.
But that I wanted more of that. I wanted more of that to inform the character of that kid. You know, like even if it isn't, obvious, it could be ambiguous. That's fine. But like that was an interesting thread that was just chopped. Like,
his dad left. His mom has gentleman callers, and he's a bad kid.
Yeah. He's headed for juvenile hall.
And that's all you need to know.
Missed opportunity.
No kidding. Snitch.
Well, it was all just a game of cat and mouse. And now those boys are going to the carnival.
I got the cat.
And then he instructs now gold-painted Pam Grier
to finish him off.
Say hi, Loki.
Oh, kitty.
Hi, kitty.
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 And so, they really fuck with them some more.
Yeah.
They're like, are you afraid of death? Well, here is you kind of dying for a moment.
A taste of death.
Enjoy. Cold-blooded Mr. Dark silences the barber's pole, which has been going this whole time, even though the barber has been on his little,
a barber pole.
The barber pole. The bar.
All right.
What are those things called? Don't they have? Surely they have a name.
No, it's just a barber's pole.
It's a barber's pole. Barber's pole.
They are a throwback to when barbers were surgeons, and they would tie bloody bandages on a pole in front of their shop to advertise their services.
Which is some pretty fucking lazy advertising, if you ask me. Look, it's my trash.
Well, how's your surgery business going? Jeez.
Pretty bloody. That's why I have all the bloody bandages outside on a pole. Did you not get that? No? Okay.
Perhaps you just need a good bloodletting.
Maybe if I can just make it.
Theodoric of York, medieval barber.
Oh, well, he stops Jim's mom before it's too late. She was going there to meet her long lost husband. So they throw that in. It's that's pretty sloppy, actually. Kind of the way they throw that in.
This movie sloppy?
Yeah, it's a little haphazard. But there's our man again. Who runs the mirror house? Say again loud.
It's Boo Radley.
Yeah. Count 3, break neck.
Lift embargo.
Yeah.
Wow.
We can do this all night.
Please don't.
This town finished. No, little man. We've only just begun.
Tina Turner runs part of town.
It's dying time.
Yeah. Well, here he is, like showing us like what we all already know. Like, you know, it's a 90-minute movie. Why are they wasting time with this shit?
We know it, but he doesn't yet.
Yeah. Well, but still, like, I mean,
we're telling him.
How would he not?
Because it's now his movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish it was all still from the kid's point of view.
I agree, absolutely.
Well, I think it's another ploy to like persuade him, like to sway him to become another victim, and also too,
it is. It's just like Adam said. We totally changed who the protagonist was for a while.
But you know, he does say at the beginning of the film, really, the story is about my father, and I totally agree with everything you know you guys are saying about like the perspective switch. There is a perspective switch,
which I don't mind in theory, but it just isn't working in this. I don't mind that in theory at all. There doesn't seem to be any causality for it.
Don't worry, Mr. Holloway. You can still run a galactic empire. Here's some Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Sans body paint.
Oh, the 3 words that they can't take, man.
Oh, yeah. I love you. He starts expressing his
blah.
Love conquers all.
That's right.
I love my big gay dad.
Point for Barbara.
Yeah.
I love you, you wimp.
Oh, man.
And yeah, here we are. And yeah, poor Tom Fury has just been like, you know, running on a lightning bolt but then he gets away. He gets his choice lightning rod and he just kills Pam Grier. It's a beautiful piece of effects animation.
You leave Pam Grier alone.
Yeah. It's not what I wanted, but you know, at least she went out with, you know, some flair, some pizzazz.
How many pieces
King of the carnival.
Yeah. And now here he is selling them the old dark and nightshade, you know, pandemonium circus and, you know, become an adult. And then once again, he's saying, don't ditch me. This line is not working the way I thought they thought maybe, you know, like it's not working the way they think. I think
and it should be working. And if they just spent like another half hour on the script, it probably would work.
Well, this script was overwrought. But yeah, here is Stan Winston's big moment. And it's a pretty sloppy little moment where, like, you know, the storm has come. They failed to get warning from Tom Fury. So they didn't know that when the lightning was going to be striking. So it immediately strikes the controls for the carousel.
Sure.
But it's all just so he can get stuck on the carousel and this awesome shit can happen. And it is awesome. So
it's a little convenient.
But it was foreshadowed several times.
Yeah.
The lightning is going to save the world. That's why he's so worried. When is the lightning going to come?
Okay.
I like I said, I feel like Adam and I are on one side here.
That's because you are.
You kept up a good front so far.
Oh, there it is.
That's
there it
good.
is. That's
this
awesome.
is a good one. And there's multiple stages, and like, let me tell you, every stage that you make in one of these things, another mask, that's super fucking expensive. Yeah. So to just like this thing here, to just give it like one shot, 1 second, You know, like there's so many masks.
I did
decline.
enjoy this transformation. I really did.
Yeah, but like the idea that there's more of it, and so that's what's left of him. But Master Blaster comes and picks him up, which to me just kind of implies that none of this is stopped. You know, like Mr. Dark's not dead.
It's like again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's just stopped this time.
Yeah.
They'll be back.
Evil always finds a way, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I would have loved at the end of this movie. Not that it doesn't need some other changes. I'm giving you that. But there's some sort of a thing where the kid realizes, but next time it'll be up to me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Granddad took this guy down.
Oh my God.
Now Dad took this guy down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a twister.
I don't think we're in Greentown, Illinois anymore.
Those are also some fantastic effects. You know,
Yeah.
And then there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Vermont.
And that's not really them.
In Vermont.
Peas grow.
And then we're back on the sound stage.
Now that's happy.
The barber pole is on. He's got a harmonica all of a sudden.
I hate the harmonica. It's all of the sudden. It was never established. He just pulls it out.
He should have said, "Let's go swimming."
Yeah, he doesn't play the harmonica like that's
ever.
Not like, you know, like
Right.
And that's not like,
That's
oh,
a problem.
look at me, I'll loosen up, like
that is
fuck?
a problem.
You had this with you the whole time? Like, what is
Yeah, if there had been one tiny little 30-second scene where he had played the harmonica to soothe his son's anxiety or whatever, it would have been great. But we didn't get that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, we didn't.
Damn it, Jim! You're too old to play that harmonica anymore.
I'm a doctor, not a harmonica.
Yeah, your heart can't take the harmonica.
Think about your heart. You only get one whiskey, one cigar, and 5 minutes on that harmonica. And you know that.
All right.
One bourbon. Sorry.
One cigar. All right. Well, let's vote. And you are first, Gravy, because this was your October pick. I was surprised. We all picked our own horror movies to have on a list. So we will, after we vote, go over that list again. But yes, please.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Tell me how you feel. What are some things that, maybe perception wise were different watching it this time?
Yeah,
also,
this is
I definitely want to know how you vote, obviously, too.
Yeah, this is a tough one to vote on. Because especially in the context of the show is like, we're going to revisit it. We're going to look, see if we're, if it holds up, if we still think, it's a worthwhile movie, or, we just like, these old movies that we grew up watching, were they really not that good? But,
right.
And this one is in a tough spot because I think my expectation level was higher with it because I remembered how much we liked it, and my impression going into it was that I was like, oh no, I bet that's a bitchin' movie. I remember all kinds of great things about that movie. I bet it's great, and it's very problematic.
Yeah.
Whereas like my expectation level with Ice Pirates and Dreamscape was a lot lower. I was like,
do you want to bring
those movies probably aren't that good, but they're probably a hoot to watch anyway. And honestly, they kind of are. I mean, Dreamscape was pushing it, but this one was tougher because it is unfortunately poisoned with a lot of the problems that were thoroughly discussed during our show. And they're there. Like, we know what we're looking at here. You're looking at a muddy script. You're looking at like Barbara said, like committee intervention. You know, when you start getting into reshoots and recuts and all that stuff, and it is there. And I was actually surprised at, you know, last night when I was watching it, I was like, oh man, yeah, okay. I remember this being better. I do. I do remember this movie being better. That being said, you know, watching it as an adult, it actually gave me a chance to be a little bit more compelled and interested in the older Halloway's perspective in the narrative, which I wasn't interested in really when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I related to the kids when I watched it. And now watching it now, it's like, you know, the scene where, you know, the pages of years of his life getting torn out. And you know, that scene,
would not have hit when you were a kid.
No, not like it does now. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just he's being very disrespectful to that one library book.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nobody should ever treat a book like that. No, but there were certain things that I actually like connected with in a new and more interesting way. I still really like a lot of things in the movie. So I like some scenes. I like the finale. I like a lot of the effect shots. I don't, you know, some of the vagueness and the motivations of the villains and stuff like that doesn't bother me that much. It's mostly just like the product of some of the shoddy filmmaking and committee involvement, overworking the film. You know, it suffers from it a lot. Yeah, man, this is a tough one.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something though. I think there's still enough like cool stuff to like make this movie worth watching, but I'm going to say that I am a little hurt by the rewatch. It you know, it's a little bit of a letdown, and in the context of like, hey, if you really liked this movie when you were a kid and just thought it was awesome and was curious to see like how well it hold up, I'm going to say you're probably going to be disappointed. Because you're going to probably be in the same situation that Jeff and I are in, where that bar is a little bit higher. You know, I was like excited to watch Dreamscape, knowing full well what level film I'm going to like kind of hold that to. And quite frankly, it's tidier than this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree, but you know, I was kind of thinking about it honestly. Like it's a little bit snugger. It's a little bit more tailored. You know, it's a little bit more neater and competent. Despite some of all the cool, I really hate saying it because there's some stuff in this movie I still really like and still really enjoyed watching it again. The effects are top notch. Jonathan Pryce steals the show. There's some genuinely tense and creepy moments, but all in all, it was better when I was a kid. And my view of
no.
So it's a no. Yeah.
It's a no. All right.
It's a no. Yeah. I hate saying it, but it is. Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be echoing a lot of those thoughts, but let's go around to Bride of Pumpkinhead here. By
the way, I will say that if you've never watched this movie,
yeah,
I would watch it.
Yeah.
Like if you've never seen this movie, you should watch it.
Yeah.
But if it was like this memory recall thing where loved it when you were a kid, just leave it there, dude. It's just don't go back. Oh, sorry.
Pumpkinhead. Bride of Pumpkinhead.
It's hard. It's a hard chant.
You're right. It doesn't lend itself to chant.
Yeah.
Bride of
thank you for trying.
Pumpkinhead. Bride of Pumpkinhead.
Now I feel awkward. Okay, so
just say no.
You shush, Adam.
So I did enjoy watching this. It wasn't a rewatch for me, even though I had some issues with it, and I feel like this is one where you're probably better off just reading the book. But as this, that podcast is definitely out there. Should you read the book or watch the movie? And since our question is, should you revisit the movie? And the book doesn't really come into it. This is tough, Jeremy. I think your assessment is like really valid. It sounds like Jethro is kind of going in that same direction.
Yeah, and what the discussion kind of led me to the no. I was thinking I was still going to vote yes last night, even though I was like feeling quite disappointed about a lot of things in the movie. Because I know it's like Eli and Laszlo said, like, yeah, I kind of like that movie, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like that movie too. But man, I really liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and I didn't see all the faults with it that I do now.
Yeah. Black Lives, thank you. I love it. Yeah, this is tough. I'm really having a hard time. I think just to keep things interesting, I'm gonna vote yes. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. There are a lot of merits to this movie that we've enumerated, and I think that my first recommendation will be read the book. Just read the book. But failing that, I'll still say there's a lot to enjoy. Voted. Cast. Done. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Themed.
Fiend.
Jonathan Pryce makes it worth it. The cast.
Jonathan Pryce is great in this movie. He really does. He really does salvage whatever there is to salvage.
He's giving 110%. No doubt.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to Barbara now. See how this is going to shake out.
Well, I agree with all of the assessments. I really do. Yes, it's there's some problems. There's some odd continuity issues. Some fixes that makes you wonder what could have been if you had gotten the movie before it had been cut into a million pieces.
Right. Yeah.
That being said, I'm still going to say yes. I'm still going to vote yes on this. I still like the performances in it. Some of them are a little heavy-handed. Some of the themes, if you will, are a little lost, a little in the gray areas of wish fulfillment or wish denied. But I still think it's charming. It doesn't offer the full creep factor that it did when I was a child. Certainly not nearly as much as of the creep factor as you usually find when you read the book. But we're not talking about the book. We're talking about the movie. So that being said, if you've never read the book, I'm still going to say, yeah, check it out. If you liked it as a kid, maybe lower your expectations a skosh. We all have higher bars. We've all seen greatness. We all know that this isn't going to be it, but it's still fun. And yeah, Jonathan Pryce nails it. I think he's every much as a creep, when I watched it 2 nights ago as he was when I was, 15. So yeah, I would say yes. Yes. Yes to Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Awesome.
And now over to
I
have a strong opinion.
I have been wondering how Adam's going to vote. You know,
Yeah,
it's all we all wonder every time we get together. It's like, oh,
the suspense.
I can't tell what Adam's opinions are.
I can't tell what Adam thinks.
I hope I didn't telegraph my opinion too early. It's a no. It's definitely a no. I have multiple layers of problems with this movie. I find it a very interesting production. I love the first act. I love the first 10 minutes of this movie, and then it all went to shit. Everything is disjointed, disconnected. Setup and payoff is absolutely lost. Gravy said it. I think the best adjective for this is muddy. It's very muddy. Stuff is just happening. Things just happen. The POV shifts in the middle of the movie from the children to the adults, and I hate that because it wasn't done well enough. I don't object to it on paper, but it was just poorly handled. It reeks of production interference. It reeks of reshoots. It reeks of just lack of vision. There's nothing else I need to say. I just did not care for it. I had not seen it when I was younger, so this is not a rewatch for me. Mm-hmm. This is a first watch. But my vote is no. If you have good memories of this, keep them there. Don't go back.
Cool. Gotcha. Yeah. And if you couldn't tell, I'm also a no as well. And it actually is because, somewhere in the communications with like the two boys and the boys and Jason Robards, I just really started to get this like bad feeling, where I was like, like this is not, I'm not getting like emotional engagement. And like Gravy said, did have memories of this being a better film than it is. Like, thinking like, yeah, there's, the execution is, more than what's actually there. And I think that's the good memory. That's the nice way to remember this. The special effects are cool, but I don't think they're great enough that like
it doesn't carry the movie.
You just have to see this movie again because you have to see these special effects. Unless you're being a completist, I don't think that's going to.
This is like the same year as Life Force. Yeah. Like you could be watching Life Force instead of this bullshit.
And you should, if you haven't seen Life Force, you should. But yeah, I think if you loved this film when you were a kid, it is going to let you down. It let down Gravy, it let down me, and like. This was one of those, for us, HBO movies. We probably had it recorded on tape so we could watch it at will and fast forward through the parts that, we weren't that wild about and just keep watching, the cool shit. So that's kind of like, what you should probably do with some, I feel that way a lot of times when I say no. It's like, but what you should do is fast forward to the cool shit.
Great premise, great scenario.
Yeah,
it just does not carry itself. It really doesn't.
Yeah, doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. Yeah,
I did enjoy watching it with two of my sons that had never seen it, and they enjoyed watching it. But yeah, we all like acknowledged some of the faults,
some of the issues.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Wizard, where are we at here? Because we've got a pretty varied opinion at this point.
And I'm going to come in a slightly different direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you grown up?
Me?
I think it's an important question to ask yourself. To ask yourself, have I grown up? Because I think it's worth remembering the people that saw this when they were kids really, really loved it.
Yeah.
when they were kids. I'm gonna save that for the end. I haven't grown up, and I watched it for the first time, and I enjoyed it. Are there problems? Absolutely. Am I going to tell you best movie I ever saw? Absolutely not. Would I watch it again? I will. There's no question. I'm going to watch this again. Jonathan Pryce. I loved what he did in it. There's parts of this movie I might take Jethro Bott's advice and speed the movie up, perhaps once or twice.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing a game or something and I had this movie on in the background, I would eat it up every day.
Yeah.
A
little background movie. Yeah.
And again, if you haven't grown up, I think there's enough there to make it a really fun watch. That being said, in the spirit of this show and what we're here to do, based on people that did watch it when they were a kid, if you're in that boat, maybe you should leave it alone. If you're worried you're going to be disappointed. But if you haven't grown up, watch it again. It's okay. But no, I'll go no, because
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The shocker.
No,
Wow.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people.
I admire your honesty, sir.
But in the spirit,
Total Recall. Yeah.
That's why I voted the way I did, because I still kind of like the movie. I'm kind of with you, and it's like, and I would watch the scene where the carnival people start playing the funeral dirge. Just because that's 3 seconds of brilliance, man. Like, what the hell is going on there? And it's creepy and offsetting, and it
has its moments. It really does have some.
It's got its moments,
and it's got its problems. It really does. You've got to acknowledge that. You've got to be honest with yourself. This movie needed work, and it didn't get it.
Hey, I got a question though for everybody. What do you guys think the potential is? I think this is a good candidate for a remake. Like, if you were going to remake a movie, there was to get an opportunity to improve greatly on the original inspiration. And I think that it ought to be done.
I would love to see Werner Herzog's Something Wicked this
week. Hell yeah!
No, I rarely agree with this idea, but I think this is a perfect candidate for a competent remake.
Yeah,
I really do.
And make a better movie.
And like I said before, more coherent movie. I love carnival atmosphere. I love the whole premise of everything about this. It's just poorly slapped together. It reeks of committee interference. So
it doesn't need to be made on a soundstage or a backlot.
Oh, Bride of Pumpkinhead strikes again.
Yep.
We need space.
Yeah. Adam was talking about establishing shots, and I was like, yeah, too bad Stanley Kubrick didn't make it. Those Barry Lyndon pan shots. And
has everyone on the panel seen the HBO Carnival?
Yes.
Nope.
Let's remake this movie with that sort of attention, and it would be incredible.
That kind of aesthetic.
The aesthetic
I
think the atmosphere.
And this movie, 1983, there was no PG-13. This is essentially a PG-13 film. I think that
it suffers from a lack of boobs.
Yeah, I think the shots of gore, was enough that it probably could have gotten PG-13. But it would be interesting. It just doesn't happen very often, making a legit scary movie that's PG.
That's something that this movie did actually pull off was that it made a horror film accessible to children, like young children.
It felt very Goosebumps to me.
Yeah.
Like the closest analog I could think of to this movie was Goosebumps, and I don't mean that in a good way.
I've never seen Goosebumps.
It was
no, I haven't seen Goosebumps.
Yeah, I
It'd be
missed
my
out.
guess.
I know people like if you grew up with it, you have good memories of it. You know, like
Do you
it was
remember
very popular
Wishbone?
at the time,
Was
but
that a thing that you? I don't know.
the Jack
Oh
Russell
my gosh,
Terrier?
so good.
Yeah, Wishbone.
Yeah.
I saw Monkey Bone.
Did you really?
I was just thinking, did you see it in the theater?
No, I rented it later.
Okay, yeah. Same for me. Like I feel like I found out about it just too late to see it in the theater. I was only there for like a week or two, but you know, Monkey Bone's a real tragedy. You want to talk about
it really is.
You want to talk about a movie that got mangled? It'll break your heart. You know, poor Monkey Bone.
Who is that? Brendan Fraser, and who is the lady in that? She had a gorgeous aesthetic for a character. But yeah, nightmare fuel.
Who was that? Gonna bother me now.
If only there was a database of.
well, now that we've voted, let's go ahead and talk about our horror movie list. I had chosen Body Parts. Wizard had chosen Bed, right? Or Bed, yes. Barbara had chosen Shockwaves. And
yes.
I am having I'm having a hard time with Brian and Adam's picks. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I can't.
Mine was Mimic.
Mimic, that's right. Yes, Mimic. Yeah.
What was your horror movie pick?
Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead. Yes. Okay.
I feel very strongly about it.
Yeah.
And he feels very strongly about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's great. Return of the Living Dead's great, dude.
I mean, I absolutely will talk about that while watching slides of it, no problem. But
I can't believe you haven't revisited it.
I know how I'm going to vote. You know, I know how I'm
going to vote. What was the name of Wizard's pick? Bed?
Bed. It's a sequel to Willard. It has a Michael Jackson single. Like
it's about a boy.
It charted
his pet rat and his pet rat's army of killer rats.
It doesn't have Crispin Glover in it, does it?
No, Crispin Glover was in the remake of Willard.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
this is the sequel to the original Willard.
Oh,
but there was no sequel to the remake of Willard. Sadly.
Yeah, the original Willard, which is like early 70s, I think, maybe something like that. That's
Ben. Okay.
That's a full-grown adult. Who has a relationship with a super smart, powerful rat.
Return of the Living Dead is the obvious answer.
I don't care. I don't care.
What were the other options? We got Ben. We got Return of the Living Dead.
Hang on. I chose Body Parts. Eric
hang on.
Body Parts.
Listen, Gravy. If I tell you that there is a movie that came out in 1977,
yes,
starring Peter Cushing, what would you say to that?
Well, I'd watch it.
Because it's Shockwaves. It's not Star Wars. It's Shockwaves.
It's not Star Wars.
Shockwaves.
And it's so weird and great, and I love it so much. It's Nazi zombies underwater.
Underwater Nazi zombies.
Oh, so good.
That sounds terrific. Yeah,
it is amazing.
And we got Mimic. I remember seeing Mimic at the movie theater.
I gotta say, I am amazed that you two have picked movies that you love so dearly and you have not revisited.
Oh no, we visit them
Oh,
often.
I've
Oh.
visited it.
Listen
I
here, you
actually
gravy.
wanna
shit.
I
watch
thought that was the whole
together.
point of this show, though.
Yeah.
Well, fuck the
Movies
show.
we haven't revisited.
Well, I haven't watched it in a couple of years.
Agreed.
How about that?
Yeah.
How's that?
Shockwaves is awesome. It was a late treasure that we discovered.
Yeah.
Return of the Living Dead, I feel like a lot of people watched it when it came out, and then a couple years after that when it was on cable. But when was the last time you watched Return of the Living Dead?
It's been in the last 5-6 years at least.
Yeah, same.
That
what-
qualifies, doesn't it?
Oh, I didn't see Mimic at the movie theater. I think I've seen Mimic, but I always get Mimic and Species confused.
Yeah, yeah.
Mimic is the one with roaches.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
I have
Which is
not
why
seen.
it is so
party?
horrifying.
It's party
Oh.
time.
Well, I'm just gonna. And I did have a story about body parts too. Like I had a personal story that had a connection to it. But yeah. I'm just gonna vote first. I'm voting for my own body parts. There.
All right, fine.
There. Also, anyone in the audience can vote too. We welcome
Please
you guys.
do.
We
Please do.
welcome
It
you
would
guys
help.
to chime in. Yeah, it would help.
Oh, I'd like to watch Body
And
Parts.
I'm going to
Yeah.
step out. Last week I voted for somebody else's because I really wanted to watch it, but I really want to watch Ben again.
Yeah.
I legitimately have not seen it since the 70s.
That's fair.
It had a really cool impact on me,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to watch it again.
Better that than Willard.
But I'm very selfish, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I got a feeling it might not hold up all that well.
It's a good chance. It's a good chance.
Night of the Lepus.
We
Oh.
both know what we've
Oh
been
my God.
searching for.
Night of
We
the Lepus.
absolutely have access to Night of the Lepus.
Yes.
I think it's.
I love that trailer.
Yeah,
I'm sure the trailer for Night of the Lepus is actually better than the movie.
All right, we've
I'm sure it is too.
Yeah.
Because it's Night of the Lepus.
Night of the Lepus is awesome.
we've got
God, I
a vote
love
for
that movie.
we've got a vote for Mimic as well. So
Oh, sweet.
we're collecting on that. All right, anyone else got a vote? Anyone?
I'm putting in a vote for Body Parts.
Body parts. Okay, 2 for
I'm
body parts.
doing brotherly solidarity here.
All right, sweet.
All right. In the name of the show, I will not vote for my own since, yes, it is a recent discovery for me. But I will vote for Night of the Living
Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I also second Barbara Lawrence's vote for Return of the
Return
Living
of the Living
Dead
Dead.
because I think it falls in the criteria of the show.
All right, we got.
Well, what
some
happens if I vote for Mimic and now we've got a 3-way tie?
Got a 3-way tie. We need
Cage fight.
we have to. Do we re-vote with those 3? Well, that would.
I think we could throw it to the audience.
Yeah, we need to throw it to the viewers.
All right,
we definitely need to.
So it's Mimic, Return of the Living Dead, and what?
Body
parts.
Body
parts.
parts. Okay,
Body
Pat, you're on. That would be Jay and Black Lives.
Oh no! Wait! Because I had Ben, so
he had Ben. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah.
Tie.
Oh wait, yeah. I guess Wizard could choose a different movie too.
Or
Wizard. Yeah, I guess that would be
Total 3 call.
Total 3.
Oh, how about this? If Wizard breaks the tie by voting for something other than Ben, then Ben is automatically the next movie.
Whoa! Is this metric? Is this official rules?
Yeah,
I'm making the shit up as I go.
Okay, all
I
right.
mean, we've never done this kind of a thing before, so
yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not making the decision until y'all decide if that's fair.
I'm just throwing it out there. This is gravy in the wind, man.
I like Gravy's idea, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
The chat is not cooperating.
Got that right, Jay Goodwin.
I know there's several people watching who are not Adam.
But there are several people watching that are Adam. I have 25 accounts.
Oh, we just need one. Or yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really want to lock in.
Let's do body parts.
2 episodes.
Are we down to 3 movies? Is that what we're down to?
Yeah.
Well, no, because I think Mimic only has 1 vote.
No. Black Lives voted for Mimic. So
Black Lives voted for Mimic.
we got it.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, it is a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm the tiebreaker then.
Yeah.
As the odd man out. I'm gonna go body parts.
Body parts. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Body parts.
All right.
Can't wait.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff, is that a movie that we watched, or did you just see it a few times? Because I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I have only seen it once, and it was when it came out, and it was a very awkward situation for me where I was actually going to a youth church, and we were talking about movies coming out and talking about going to see that, and I think people were just suggesting oh yeah, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that, and I was very young at the time. What is it, 1990 or 91 or something like that? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
91. It looks
91. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was 15 years old. Pretty just very awkward. And I wound up just showing up. There was never any confirmation or anything. It was just a conversation. But I was well, I'm going to do that. And yeah, they were not there. It was actually a fairly empty theater, but yeah.
How many episodes do we have until Halloween? Is it 4 or 3?
Oh, we only have two more October episodes. We
got it's
Body
every
Parts.
other week.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit. That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but couldn't we just roll this into November?
Yeah.
I hate turkey. I mean, I'll just say that right now.
Yeah. But we have to focus on all our favorite Thanksgiving movies.
No one has a Thanksgiving movie.
That's just what I was about to say. There are no good Thanksgiving movies.
Yes, there are.
And if there are, it's got Clint Howard in it, and nobody wants that.
Blood Freak is it?
Steve Martin, John Candy, Trains, and Automobile. Thanksgiving for the win.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. That's a funny movie. At least I remember it being funny. That might have to be recalled.
That could be a holiday movie, though. That could be Christmas.
Well,
trying to get home for Thanksgiving.
We'll bookmark it. Yeah.
Your mom's trying to get home for Thanksgiving.
Boy, the vote went your way, Adam, and you're still salty.
No, it didn't. Not yet. It hasn't.
Well,
I voted for body parts.
Oh, but I mean, I mean, as far as the thumbs up or down on Something Wicked This Way Comes.
I've already forgotten this movie.
All right, yeah.
It's not a part of my life.
There are 5 Wednesdays in October. We will have another chance to do another one.
Is it? Yes. Do we have 3 shows?
Yeah, we have 3 shows.
Yeah, on the 2nd, the 16th, and the 30th. So Black Lives. We'll get a campaign together. We'll knock on some doors.
I would watch Mimic. I don't know if I've ever watched the whole thing. I think I have.
But is it Halloween? Is it really?
Oh my God.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Very, very, very scary.
I want to watch a lot of horror movies this month. There's always a big bunch of them that I've never seen that I want to check out.
We just last night saw a print of An American Werewolf in London.
Ooh,
and
sweet.
It was a little faded. There was still, it wasn't peak. There's still color in it. But it was a little rough around the edges, and
still.
Oh no! I mean that is a 5-star film. My goodness. Just cannot it's so tight. It's so well done.
Yes,
there's so much emotional involvement.
It's so funny and scary and great
and paced brilliantly.
Yeah.
Brilliantly acted, brilliantly edited. The musical cues, everything. Just love it, start to finish.
Man, I'd like to see that in a movie theater.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a joy. It's a joy.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since it played Fantastic Fest.
Oh, did it? Did they show that at a fest once? Okay, I know it. I'd seen it in the theater before, but I just didn't know exactly where.
Well, was it a fest? I remember I got the poster.
Oh, okay.
Of it because Justin had made a poster for it.
That's
the
probably
one that. It's. I think it's an Ollie Moss.
Yeah, that's probably why it was at the festival. They were releasing a poster. All right, well, we've got our movie picked. We've given you a vote on this. Got to tell you, if you just love and remember greatly the Something Wicked This Way Comes, there's a very good chance that you're going to be disappointed if you revisit it.
Just leave it be.
Buyer beware. However, you should watch the Rick and Morty episode that apes it, and also
read the book.
Read the book. The book is great. It's wonderful, wonderfully written. I just love the and it flies. You fly through it too, man. It's a pretty easy read as well. But yeah, highly recommend that. And also, there's a lot of tropes being established here. Even though it's not a very good movie, it is visually evocative, and some of that had some lasting effect. So,
it's not without merit. It's just not that great at the end of the day.
Yeah, but still give my hat off to that degree. Anyway. So,
all right.
Thanks.
So next episode, we're doing what? We're doing Mimic.
We are doing Body Parts. We're doing Body Parts by Eric Red, and it stars Jeff Fahey and
no, not Jeff Fahey.
This Jeff Fahey.
Oh yes,
Jeff Fahey. And all I can really remember about this movie is I liked it, and I thought it was really gory.
So I wasn't I wasn't quite sure if I was remembering the right movie. Mm-hmm. I did see this in the theater, and I don't remember any of it because I was so pissed off and mad at my boyfriend at the time for taking me to see this instead of something else, that I just kind of huffed and puffed and just I didn't even pay attention to it.
Let me console you, Barbara.
Let's give Body Parts.
I just remember I'm like, you're taking me to the Possessed Arm movie?
What if there's arm wrestling? Is there an arm wrestling scene? Oh man. Oh, getting jazzed.
This will be an adventure,
Yeah.
All right, Body Parts it is, folks.
Okay. Well,
right on.
Join us for, 90 or 91's Body Parts. We will be talking about that in 2 weeks. That's going to be a Wednesday the 16th, 7:35-ish on Wednesday, Central Time.
Central.
All right, Central Time. Okay, so
5:30 Pacific.
Adjust your clocks accordingly, and make sure you pack a sandwich. All right. Thanks for joining us, weirdos. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much to Black Lives and Eraserhead and Captain and Burb. I can't really pronounce your whole name, Burb. Thank you for Jam Lemon. Jay, thank you, Jay, for coming out. So great to see you. Thanks for joining us. And we love hanging out with you guys. We love talking about these movies, and we can't wait to do it again. So then hit the like button and tell your friends. Check it out. Total Recall. Good night.
Good night.
We remember
God.
My family is dead.